As someone yells gun, that same agent appears to step away, and about a second later, the first... What do you see when you watch those videos?
An execution, an absolute execution. There's no other, every angle shows it, and they continue to fire bullets at him while his body was lifeless on the ground.
And tonight, regarding those officers involved in the death of Alex Preddy, Commander Greg Bovino saying today that they have all been relocated out of state out of concerns they would be doxxed and or harassed, saying that none have been placed on administrative leave and all continue to work.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States of America and the president who's trying to save your country.
The U.S.-Israeli strikes across Iran have been vast and relentless, missiles pounding close to 2,000 targets in at least 50 locations. New satellite images shared with ABC News show extensive damage at the Konarak air, drone, and naval bases in southern Iran. Multiple Iranian ships on fire at Bandar Abbas naval base. These images of an Iranian warship blown apart by a U.S. missile strike. And at at Iran's Natanz nuclear complex, these just-released images show damage on numerous buildings.
This was a massive, overwhelming attack across all domains.
A major focus of the strikes, Iran's missile launchers, its stockpiles, and those deadly one-way attack drones that are now wreaking havoc across the Gulf, hitting both civilian and military targets. But as many targets as the U.S. and Israel have hit, Iran still has thousands of missiles in its arsenal that still pose a significant threat.
There is only 1 hour of air left in the Strait of Hormuz. Always insult your allies before the war, so when you need them, they ignore you.
Dictatorials will win first and then go to war. I just declare victory and go to golf. To not upset the markets, fight wars only on weekends.
Yeah, what do you want? On the Epstein files, we talked about Democrats who were in there. Elon Musk was also in there, and so was your Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick and correspondence that he had with him. Did you read those new files that were published by the Department of Justice?
I have a lot of things I'm doing, a lot of things I'm doing. I don't know. You mentioned two names. I'm sure they're fine. I'm sure they're fine. Otherwise, it would have been major headlines.
A lot of women who are survivors of Epstein's are unhappy with those redactions that came out. Some of them, entire witness interviews are totally blacked out. Do you think that they should be more
transparent? The fact that they thought they released too much. I heard that. And you tell me something else. I think it's really time for the country to get onto something else. Now that nothing came out about me, other than it was a conspiracy against me, literally, by Epstein and other people. But I think it's time now for the country to maybe get onto something else, like healthcare, something that people care about. Yeah, what do you say?
What would you say to the survivors?
You are the worst reporter. No wonder CNN has no ratings because of people like you. You know, she's a young woman. I don't think I've ever seen you smile. I've known you for 10 years. I don't think I've ever seen a smile on your face. You know why? You know why you're not smiling? Because you know you're not telling the truth. And you're a very dishonest organization, and they should be ashamed of you. Okay,
survivors of a sexual abuse or
It's a reality Americans can't ignore.
The more you think about it, the more it hurts, man. So I just feel I'm just get out of there.
Cheap gas is now a thing of the past.
It's pretty painful, but you gotta do what you gotta do.
Prices at the pump rising across the country.
Feeding American families is a responsibility farmers take seriously. Farm owner John Bolt has worked this land for years. On his Yuma, Arizona farm, he grows vegetables shipped to grocery stores nationwide, ending up on kitchen tables, work that's now getting harder.
That's a challenge that farmers across the United States have really been facing as the cost of doing business keeps going up.
A war a world away has effectively shut down one of the world's most critical shipping routes. The Strait of Hormuz handles about 20% of global oil, and with traffic disrupted, the impact is hitting U.S. farms fast. Here's why. Farm equipment runs on diesel, so as oil prices climb past $100 a barrel, diesel follows, and it doesn't stop there. Nitrogen fertilizer, a key Middle East export, is now harder and more expensive to get.
And if you can't afford fuel and you can't afford fertilizer, you can't grow crops like broccoli or cauliflower or the wheat you see behind me, which means for farms like Desert Premium in Arizona, they could lose hundreds of thousands of dollars.
But I think some of these things that we're dealing with right now will definitely impact decisions we make for future crops.
Bolt says he expects to pay $3,000 more per truckload in fuel costs. costs that could eventually get passed down.
I just make sure that I focus to save enough money for the week.
Arizonans tell MS Now the war has only added to their concern of already high grocery prices.
I think everything is more expensive now, and it sucks.
This has pushed shoppers away from traditional stores. In Mesa, American Discount Foods has seen customer traffic double.
I think there is a survival issue for some of our customer base.
Owner Johnny Decker says low prices are drawing people in, but rising shipping costs could change that.
We've just seen pricing start to go up. I mean, it's been, since the war started.
In Arizona, where Trump won by more than 5%, Volz, also president of the state's Farm Bureau, still supports U.S. action in Iran.
So I think American farmers and ranchers will figure out a way to work through it.
Do you think right now we should be in Iran?
I think there's value in going after these regimes, these countries that are bad actors, that make our world less safe and provide for less freedom.
But with no end in sight and midterms approaching, many say they won't forget the cost.
It's too much. I think we work too hard for not to get enough food to feed our family.
In Arizona, Laura Haefele, MS Now.
Well, with the cost of everything going up these days, many people really are feeling the pinch this week while shopping for Passover and Easter.
And Fox 8's Jody Goldberg takes a closer look at how people are spending, how much money they're spending this year.
It's happening at the grocery store.
It's really hard.
The basics are costing more and you're getting less.
How much was all this? What'd you spend? $150 for 2 bags of groceries. The eggs have gone up, the meats have gone up.
Milk and stuff like that. Maybe 10 items, that's over $100.
And it doesn't stop there. When it comes to filling up, there's pressure at the pump too.
The gas is going up, especially super.
Gas prices are now $3.94 a gallon here in New York, up about 10 cents in just a week and past $4 a gallon nationwide. This as the Iran war pushes oil prices higher.
They're all going up. You have no choice.
And it's showing up beyond the basics.
Used to be able to spend $120 for a good dinner. Now it's $200.
Even planning a holiday meal is getting more expensive, whether it's Passover,
horseradish is ridiculous, $6 a pound,
or Easter.
What are you spending more on for Easter? Artichokes. You're having 12 people and everybody wants an artichoke. You can spend more for your artichokes than you can for your meat. According to Wallet Hub, Americans are expected to spend $25 billion on Easter this year, but it comes at a cost. About 1 in 4 Americans say the holiday isn't affordable, and nearly 1 in 3 say they're not confident with their finances right now.
Gas went up, rent went up, even a can of soda went up. Everything went up, and it's freaking me out.
And as fuel prices rise, so does the cost of getting away. Average U.S. travel is 3% higher compared to this time last year.
I used to have 2 free bags. Now I've got to pay for everything, even a carry-on. It's ridiculous. Every time I go to pay, it's like more and more each time.
So if everything feels more expensive, just remember, it's because right now it is. On Long Island, Jody Goldberg, Fox 5 News.
All right, we're back with our coverage of the No Kings protests, where thousands are still out across the country protesting Trump's handling of the economy, his immigration policies, and the war in Iran, just to name a few of the issues of concern. Hands Off, the organizer of the New York No Kings rally, say at least 350,000 people showed up to its event here. And just to be clear, Americans are not just organizing around policy concerns, but also a broader idea that power in this country is supposed to be checked, not crowned. Andrea Flores and George Conway.
Minneapolis, St. Paul forced the White House to scale back its operation. At its height, more than 3,000 federal agents were deployed across the state. Today, fewer than 1,000 remain. Ultimately, it also led to the firing of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem. Americans, including you at home, watching this have done a lot to provide a backstop to many of Trump's abuses of power. So let's back up for a second and remember what else has been achieved so far. At this point last year, just 2 months into the second Trump administration, no large-scale effort had materialized yet to counter Trump, but the seeds of a movement were beginning to sprout. Small clusters of people around the country were getting together to protest the anti-democratic actions that Donald Trump had promised to take and had started to take upon his return to power. Some people gathered at Tesla dealerships and elsewhere to demonstrate demonstrate against Elon Musk and Doge, who were empowered by Trump to fire government workers and to slash federal budgets. Americans began confronting Republican members of Congress at tense town halls, questioning them about their lack of resistance to the White House's actions and the flurry of executive orders that Trump signed in an attempt to impose his repressive, anti-diversity, anti-immigrant ideology. At least until Republicans just stopped showing up altogether, because they were advised by their national leadership to avoid meeting and talking with their constituents at town halls because the viral videos of those encounters were making Republicans look bad. This was all happening largely organically around the country during those first few months of Trump's return to the White House, but Trump didn't seem to care. He didn't seem all that bothered by the growing opposition to his presidency. In fact, at some points, he seemed to revel in it. In February of last year, the White House's social media account posted this image. He really likes fake Time magazine covers, but this was a fake magazine cover that showed Donald Trump wearing a crown. On the bottom left corner, it read, "Long live the king." Then came June 14, 2025. That was the 250th anniversary of the U.S. Army. Also happened to be Trump's 79th birthday. The government held a military parade on the streets of Washington, D.C., the kind of posturing you typically see in places like China and Russia and North Korea, countries where strong men rule. They brought in tanks. They flew warplanes. About 7,000 soldiers participated in this thing. However, it was poorly attended and overall a pretty dismal affair. I know that personally because I was there that day near the Washington Monument covering it for hours and hours, and I will never get back in my life. But elsewhere in the country, on that very same day, and I was stuck at that parade, the first No Kings protests were taking place. An estimated 5 million people participated in marches and other No Kings related events, far more than the number of people who turned out for Trump's military parade. In fact, it was one of the single largest single-day protests in American history. But it would be eclipsed itself just 4 months later by the second No Kings Day protest on October 18th. 7 million people are estimated to have taken to the streets again to continue this work. They rallied for the immigrant families who were being separated and detained, sometimes without due process, the students who were arrested and detained for calling for an end to the war in Gaza, the people living below the poverty line, whose benefits, including health care and nutrition assistance, were taken away from them. The residents of Los Angeles and Portland and other American cities who didn't want or need federal troops in their streets. Americans have stepped up. Every single act of injustice has been met with a response from the public. As a result, Mahmoud Khalil and Rumeysa Oztur, 2 immigrant students who were detained simply for advocating for the people of Gaza, have been freed from detention. Trump's mass deportation operations have slowed, frustrated by the wall of resistance that Americans have put up in defense of immigrant communities. The attempts to deploy federal troops have encountered legal challenges that have largely blocked the administration from enacting a police state in America. But there is much more work to do. The Trump administration has launched a war of choice in Iran, seemingly to distract Americans from his failings here at home. And he continues to antagonize other countries, including our allies. The economy remains on very shaky ground. Housing and cost of living remain unaffordable for millions of Americans. The government doesn't seem to be doing anything about those problems. This is where you come in. More than 3,000 No Kings related events are planned for the country on Saturday, 6 days from now. This is at least a few hundred more than the last time, a sign of how big this movement is and how it's continuing to grow. What started out as a demonstration against Trump's aspirations to rule like a king has been transformed into a movement to safeguard democracy from his tyrannical policies. There will be events in small towns and the biggest of cities. Chances are something's happening very close to where you live. And if you don't like what Donald Trump and his administration are turning this country into, join one of these events. Make a poster, bring a friend. Meet the members of your community. The work must continue. Every moment we do this builds upon the movements that came before. The late Congressman and civil rights activist John Lewis left us with this lesson, quote, "Ours is not the struggle of one day, 1 week, or 1 year. Ours is not the struggle of one judicial appointment or presidential term. Ours is the struggle of a lifetime, and maybe even many lifetimes. And each one of us in every generation must
And if you think we're unhappy, well, there are millions of Americans protesting across the United States as we speak against Donald Trump's policies. Not just the war against Iran, but certainly that has been part of a stimulus. This is live shots of Philadelphia from a helicopter. I'll let you judge for yourself what you think of the numbers there. More than 3,000 rallies are being held across all 50 states in the latest No Kings protest marches. We are getting feeds as well from other cities. Certainly some US lawmakers are turning out for some of the rallies, particularly the ones in Minnesota, which we know have seen lots of controversy regarding the policy of how ICE operates. Now let's get a report from Donnie O'Sullivan. He's at the demonstration in New York.
Massive demonstration. We are just part of one stream here of people who are, of multiple streams of people who are making their way down through Midtown Manhattan, down towards Times Square. This group, I mean, we had to walk 6-7 blocks to even get to this point, and there's no end in sight on either side of this. A lot of people we've been speaking to here, obviously this is the third No Kings demonstration. The first was last June, second one was in October, and now we have today. And mixture, you can see with the signs here, it's a combination of signs about Trump's threat to democracy, anti-ICE signs, and also a lot of signs protesting the war in Iran. We spoke to, been speaking to demonstrators here all day. Take a listen to some of the folks we spoke to.
This democracy is only as strong as the people who defend it. And so what we're seeing here in New York and across the country is that as we have more incursions from this president, from the MAGA movement, attacks on public education, on healthcare, on immigration, on workers, tenants, consumers, queer people, that everyday Americans are realizing that we have to come together to stand up to defend our democracy.
People like me, the youth, are against this administration. We are anti-fascist, we're anti-authoritarian, anti-tyranny, and we do not believe in ICE, nor Israel, nor the war in Iran.
Your strength and your commitment told us that this is still America. And this reactionary nightmare and these invasions of American cities will not stand.
I'm here because I'm worried about my children and my grandchildren. I'm tired. We're exhausted. This brings me hope. I have so much hope here. And we can change this. Our government is not going to do it. It has to be we the people.
What we provide is mockery to the king. And we call this part of the mock and awe tour. And that's really about just taking authoritarianism and making fun of it, which they hate.
And Noah, not the bullying chief, not the racist chief, not the wannabe king, Noah is above the law. They want us to be afraid that there's nothing we can do to stop them. But you know what? They are wrong. Dead wrong. Because we know better. Millions of us are not afraid to know our rights and exercise them. To stand up for each other and our hard-fought freedom.
Abroad, when people are going hungry and people are going without health care at home, and I think that is absolutely one of the things that is fueling this protest. And also, what we are seeing across the country, in red areas, in urban and suburban and rural areas, collectively, is that people are fed up with all of this. They are fed up with imperious, unaccountable governance, doesn't take into account their needs. They are fed up with mass police, mass secret police attacking their neighbors. They're fed up with war. They want action, and they want action not only from the Trump administration, but from their Democratic elected officials. They want to see everyone who's got an ounce of power in this country throw in to stop this.
So, Time reports, Leah, that today's No Kings protest may draw the biggest and most diverse anti-Trump crowds ever. In what ways are today's demonstrations more diverse than the first two protests? I mean, where are you seeing the biggest growth? Is it within urban communities, suburban communities, and what do you think's behind it?
Well, what I can tell you right now is that we're seeing growth across pretty much all fronts. We've had an extraordinary amount of labor organizing and folks throwing in. We've seen really powerful growth across the civil rights movement, across the faith community. We're seeing veterans throw in a big way in response to the war. And we're also seeing a surprising surge in rural and suburban areas in particular. This is the first time when we're having the majority of these protests. They are outside of city centers. They are suburban, they are rural, and they reflect the fact that discontent with Donald Trump and this agenda of chaos and cruelty and corruption is stretching everywhere.
Yeah, your Indivisible co-founder Ezra Levin promised we are going to be everywhere, and he was not exaggerating. You have incredible numbers, 121 events in Michigan. There are only 83 counties. So, I mean, they're beating the numbers of counties in states like Michigan, Pennsylvania, Ohio. Talk about the high-profile speakers, the activists, the politicians. You've got the boss, Bruce Springsteen, performing his anti-ICE single streets of Minneapolis. Has this exceeded your expectations, what you're seeing today?
Well, I think what we're seeing is that there are artists who are just as involved as regular people are. And so Bruce Springsteen is here in Minneapolis to help tell the story and bring the story of Minneapolis to the rest of the country. Because fundamentally what we saw in Minnesota over the last several months is the power of organized regular people who refuse to comply with fascism. What we are seeing is that when people respond in that way, when we stand up in that way, other people answer that call. Other people answer the call of the courage and the sacrifice, and they throw in too.
Well, you've certainly answered the call, and we're grateful for it, Leah Greenberg, you and the folks at Indivisible. I know you've got a lot to get to with today. You've got so many people there behind you.
Hello, Minnesota. Welcome to the freest state in the nation. A state where you love who you choose to love. A state where you make your healthcare decisions. A state where you worship or not according to your own beliefs. And maybe most importantly, a state where everyone belongs. Thank you to all the organizers. Thank you to our sisters and brothers in labor for the work you do every day and being here making this possible. Look, when the wannabe dictator in the White House sent his untrained, aggressive thugs to do damage to Minnesota, it was you, Minnesota, who stood up for your neighbors, who stood up for decency, who stood up for kindness. And at this moment that we are still in, when democracy itself seems to be at risk, it was Minnesota who said, not on our watch, not on our watch. You are the heart and soul of what the nation saw that is good in this nation. But make no mistakes about it. They did damage. They killed Renee and Alex. They traumatized our neighbors. And just be very clear, our weather may be a little cool, but our people are warm and we're fierce. And my message, because this is not over, don't ever mistake our kindness for weakness. We demand justice for Renee Good and Alex Preddy. We demand justice for every single person who was hurt or traumatized. We will never forget what they did here. And I have a message to our immigrant immigrant community here in Minnesota. You are seen, heard, valued, and loved. You add value to our state. You are part of the fabric of what is good about Minnesota. And I have to tell you, that is a hell of a lot more than I'll say about anybody in the White House. And I will add a special thank you and a special acknowledgement that we will never leave the side of our Somali Minnesotans. Here's our pledge to you. Our Somali Minnesotans, your great-grandchildren will still be here when that orange cloud is in the dustbin of history. You will be here. They call us radicals. I see that the president said it's a bunch of radicals. You damn right we've been radicalized. Radicalized by compassion. Radicalized by decency. Radicalized by due process. Radicalized by democracy. And radicalized to do all we can to oppose authoritarianism. So for those of you watching at home, welcome to the North Star State. Welcome to the land of hope and dreams. And it's my pleasure to be able to welcome somebody who has spent a lifetime giving voice to the working class, expressing our hopes and dreams, our fears, all of the things that makes us human, and has done that with a voice that resonated across generations. So I have to tell you, we're damn sure about this. We need no damn kings. But I'll tell you what I'm glad we have. We do need a boss. Please welcome Bruce Springsteen to the stage.
Hello,
Pepper balls, bean bags, tear gas, and skirmish lines with mounted police. Those were the scenes near the Metropolitan Detention Center over on Alameda Street, where a group of agitators broke from the otherwise peaceful No Kings protest and march and began throwing rocks, bottles, and concrete blocks at federal officers. Homeland Security officials say that group of agitators surrounded the Roybal Federal Building as well. Two officers were hit by cement blocks and received medical care. LAPD officials declared a citywide tactical alert just after 5 p.m. while issuing a dispersal order. Those who refused to leave were arrested. According to preliminary reports, at least a dozen people were taken into custody, and at least one officer and 2 bystanders were injured before that tactical alert was lifted by 8 o'clock in the evening. LA Mayor Karen Bass, attending another event yesterday, spoke to us about what was unfolding.
I am worried right now because the protests have been peaceful all day, but I'm worried that there's a little bit of a breakdown. I'm monitoring it minute by minute, and I might have to rush off and go downtown to the command center. So it is so important that we peacefully protest.
But the chaos later in the evening stood in stark contrast to what unfolded for the majority of the day here at Grand Park and across 51 communities in the Southland alone, from Orange County to Long Beach, Pasadena, Burbank to West Hollywood. Protesters marched peacefully, carrying signs to push back on the actions and policies of the Trump administration. Organizers say this was the largest single-day protest in American history
with more than 8 million participants at over 3,000 events nationwide.
Here at 9, an unruly crowd clashing with police after a No Kings protest in downtown LA. Police say the crowd was throwing chunks of concrete at federal officers outside the detention center. Officers using tear gas and LAPD moving in and making arrests.
LAPD officers chasing down protesters in the streets, tackling a person here. Police also making arrests for failure to disperse and assault on officers.
Another protester arrested, and then shortly after that is when that dispersal happened. We want to show you, though, take a look at the chaos here. These were the intense moments with the crowd facing off with those officers outside of the federal detention facility. This was between 6 and 7 tonight. Things just really taking a contentious turn. Officers deploying that tear gas, as you saw at the top of the show. And then another scary situation here. LAPD says that people started using chunks of concrete to throw at officers. We learned that from federal authorities confirming to us tonight that there were officers hit by that concrete blocks, and they are receiving medical care. We also know that 2 people at least were arrested for assaulting officers. Again, that's when that less than lethal weapon started to be used to try and get these crowds to break up. Here's another video of those skirmish lines. Those cops just moving through, doing what they do in moments like this when things take an unruly turn. You can see them tackling those protesters. We had multiple people that were arrested in this situation as well. But we do know that at that time there was a tactical alert that was issued that was lifted at around 8 o'clock. So those arrests for failure to disperse have been happening throughout the night. But again, I just want to reiterate that within the last 30 minutes is when we saw things take a turn. There's virtually no more protesters out here right at this intersection right here at Alameda and Aliso. That's where we were seeing a lot of those protesters. They were then pushed down the street here, what we're showing you right now, down Commerce, and we have not seen those crowds return. Obviously, you can hear the honking. That's probably because they are blocking these streets here, LAPD, to make sure that these protesters and, of course, the media are safe, if they're going to be having people walking around. But Leslie Gio, again, just a very different scene, a very different situation than what we saw at around 6 and 7, and even just as recently as 8:45 when we saw those last arrests be made out here. Still no exact total for how many people have been taken into custody, but you can kind of hear some of those crowds picking up behind me here. But right now, for the most part, the crowds have dispersed. Reporting live here downtown, we'll send things back to you in the studio.
Hunter, thank you. No, LAPD had called an unlawful assembly, and we quickly saw them get to work there, making sure to disperse that crowd. Taking a live look, though, over downtown from SkyCal. LAPD, again, no longer under a tactical alert as of an hour ago. You can see the streets pretty much clear of any of those protesters, and only law enforcement really on the ground there, too.
Saturday's crowd met at the waterfront before marching downtown and across the Hawthorne Bridge to the centrally side. The crowd's so big, several different routes across the Rose City. On every street, thousands sharing a voice.
I think we're in a really scary time in our history. Obviously, our democracy is in serious danger, and I think the only way we get through this is together.
With signs and shouts. No Kings saw no violence all afternoon. Among the crowd, frogs. I really appreciate that Portland has taken what Trump has said and tried to show him even more
how we are here because of love and
It was a day more than 2,000 students, their teachers, staff, and family will never forget. The day was January 22nd, 2025.
It just happened, just boom, 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 and then boom, boom.
Minutes after gunshots rang out inside Antioch High School, chaos and fear rippled across the community. According to police, 2 students were shot by another in the cafeteria. The shooter then turned the gun on himself.
As a city, as a community, it is impossibly difficult to be here once again dealing with the devastation of gun violence in one of our school communities. As a Metro Schools parent, I know how difficult it is to receive a notification of an emergency operation.
Families rushed to the Ascension St. Thomas Medical Pavilion, waiting for buses carrying students away from the scene of a deadly shooting and back into their parents' arms. Among them, senior Caden Taylor, who was still replaying the moments he used to survive.
It was like in the midway of the crowd, people were getting trampled over. I got trampled over, just ran out through the side, out through the K hallway, just went out to the exit to my car and slept. The only thing was just to go out to the car, wait for my brother.
His fear quickly turned to disappointment.
I'm upset that people lost their lives, you know, especially for the person that got shot. It shouldn't happen. Won't go home no more. Parents are upset, I'm sure, just for all this to happen. I think it's selfish, very, very selfish.
A few feet away, Tiffany Brooks waited for her granddaughter after abandoning her car and running toward the school.
She just called and said, Mama T, they're shooting.
And so, Tiffany stood on that hillside, praying for the chance to hold her again.
Just want to see her. Just need to see her. I know that, she's in one piece. So, that's all I need to do now.
Even as she felt relief, she carried the pain of other families.
Those other parents, they're not going to be able to do that.
She held her strength for her loved ones, saving her tears for later.
Tonight, when it's all over with, I'll lay in the bed and I'll cry. Because I can't cry right now. I gotta make sure everybody's good.
Across Antioch, the emotional wounds were only beginning. Senior Candace Huff was just feet away from the shooter.
So I'm on the ground. I was in the line stuck with my friend. I was basically stuck in the school for a while, and before they let us leave, and we left and we didn't turn back.
The images still haunt her.
I didn't know if we were next or if, I don't know, I just didn't know, and I was freaking out, hyperventilating, everything, and I felt stressed, overwhelmed. I felt like my whole world was crumbling apart in my hands, and I didn't have my phone, so I couldn't call my mom, and so I was really just there.
In the spirit of unity, will you please join me in a moment of silence? The night of the shooting, Candace joined hundreds inside Hamilton Church and United Family Fellowship, trying to find comfort through prayer and community.
Stay safe. Look out for yourself and for others too. But if you can't, then do it for yourself. If anything, do it for yourself and your family.
But the deepest grief belonged to the family of 16-year-old Jocelyn Diana Escalante, the student who never made it home. Her father says he is reminded every day how much she was loved. Now that love is carried as memory.
It's not fair, says Herman.
Her Aunt Maria breaks down as she describes the quiet, kind teen who loved soccer, earned good grades, and adored her family.
Oh God, she was my girl.
In January, a community was shattered, but through heartbreak, fear, and unimaginable loss, Antioch continues to hold on to each other
and so, Pete, you started off by saying the Department of Defense, and somehow it didn't sound good to me. It didn't sound good. Defense, what are we defense? Why are we defense? So it used to be called the Department of War, and It had a stronger sound. And as you know, we won World War I, we won World War II, we won everything. Now we have a Department of Defense with defenders. I don't know. If you people want to, standing behind me, if you take a little vote, if you want to change it back to what it was when we used to win wars all the time, that's okay with me. All right?
That's coming.
You let me know if you want to do it. I think Department of War. It just sounded bad. He said, sir, on behalf of the Department of Defense. Defense? I don't want to be defense only. We want defense, but we want offense too, if that's okay. So you'll make a decision. But you know,
Mr. Mark, if I might, just tell me about the 22nd Amendment. What does it provide?
The 22nd Amendment, Senator, my career has mostly been in criminal prosecution. I haven't had an opportunity to use that one specifically.
Anyone able to help on the 22nd Amendment to the United States
Senator, I believe it is the amendment that deals with
Correct. It states no person shall be elected to the office of the president more than twice. Mr. Mark, is President Trump eligible to run for president again in 2028?
Senator, without considering all the facts and looking at everything, depending on what the situation is, this to me strikes as more of a hypothetical, something that could be.
It's not a hypothetical. Has President Trump been elected president twice?
President Trump has been certified the President of the United States 2 times.
Is he eligible to run for a third term under our Constitution?
I would have to review
All I need to tell you is the language of the constitutional amendment that makes it clear that no, he is not eligible to run for a third term. Anybody else brave enough to say that the Constitution of the United States prevents President Trump from seeking a third term? Anybody willing to apply the Constitution by its plain language in the 22nd Amendment? Nobody. All right, let's move on.
Come on, darling.
I'll say it only within the confines of this room because I know
within the confines of this room, Mayor, you're not going to tell anybody, please? I was thinking about seriously calling it the Gulf of Trump, but I really was, but I was told by some very wise people, please don't do this. That's what I don't think would have worked. What do you think? That wouldn't have worked too well.
Of 17 agreements. This represents 86% of the branded pharmaceutical drug market in the United States. But anyone who knows us knows that we're not done. That's a milestone. It's not the finish line. And so we have three core objectives that are next up. Number one, this is already underway. We are negotiating with the many hundreds of biotechnology and pharmaceutical companies representing that other 14% that are building the cures for tomorrow. To all those who are listening, I hope that we have proven that we are credible and reliable and trustworthy partners. We want to sit with you. We will listen to you. We will take the time to understand your businesses. Not only as we negotiate on behalf of every American family for affordability, but also to ensure that your best position to create the cures for tomorrow. Second, we continue our work on negotiating international trade agreements. 59 days after we stood in this office and President Trump, standing with Albert Bourla from Pfizer, announced the first of the 17 MFN deals. Together with our colleagues from the Department of Commerce under Secretary Levin's leadership and from U.S. Trade Representative's office under the leadership of Ambassador Greer, we negotiated a landmark agreement with Government United Kingdom, in which they agreed to increase significantly the amount they spend on branded pharmaceuticals for the first time in 26 years. That work continues with other countries. And third, we will continue our work with our partners in Congress to codify the principles that underpin these post-degradation deals so that these savings for American families and this innovation is unleashed at the same time persists for decades to come. So that the 1 in 3 or 4 families that Dr. Oz mentioned standing at pharmacy counter right now, wrestling with the decision that no family should have to make of whether or not they can pick up their prescription because they can't afford it will no longer be the case. And at the same time, we know that there are roughly 20,000 known diseases in the world, and we have a treatment or a cure for fewer than incorporate those. And so this president and his policies is not only safeguarding affordability for American families, but is ensuring that we continue to bet on American exceptionalism. We bet on innovation. We bet on the principles that have taken us to this place 250 years for the next
4 and 8 for countries that are aligned with the United States and in a way that doesn't waste the taxpayers' money.